The White House has demanded that Canada share authority and ownership of a new bridge connecting the two countries after a clear and direct call between Donald Trump and Prime Minister Mark Carney. The Gordie Howe International Bridge connecting the Canadian province of Ontario to the U.S. state of Michigan will not open until Ottawa treats the United States with the fairness and respect that we deserve, Trump wrote on social media earlier today. The bridge is funded by the Canadian government, but will be publicly owned by both Canada and Michigan. Prime Minister Mark Carney said on Tuesday he had a positive conversation with Trump, reminding him Canada paid for the bridge. The Gordie Howe International Bridge will connect southern Detroit, Michigan, United States, and Windsor, Ontario, Canada when completed. Carney said he also reminded the president that it was built by U.S. and Canadian workers and with steel from both countries. He said that Trump asked that the U.S. ambassador to Canada, Pete Hoekstra, who is from Michigan, play a role in smoothing the conversation in and around the bridge. Speaking to reporters at the White House hours after the call, Press Secretary Carolyn Leavitt said that Trump viewed Canadian ownership of land on both sides of the bridge as unacceptable. He also believes that U.S. should own at least half of the bridge, have shared authority over what passes across it, and participate in the economic benefits generated by U.S. use, she added. It is not clear how Trump could block its opening, but he said in his initial post that negotiations would begin immediately without elaborating. Ontario Premier Doug Ford said he was glad to hear about the Trump-Carney call, adding he was confident the bridge would open as planned, as it was in the best interest of both economies of both countries. On Monday, Michigan Senator Alyssa Slotkin, a Democrat, said closing the incredibly important infrastructure project would be awful for both of our states' economy. The move could have serious repercussions, she said on an X post, higher costs for Michigan businesses, less secure supply chains, and ultimately fewer jobs. The bridge, which spans the Detroit River and is named after the late hockey player legend Gordie Howe, who played for the Detroit Red Wings, is expected to open to traffic pending formal tests and approvals in the early part of this year. Construction began in 2018, but the project has been a point of contention between the countries for more than a decade. It is estimated to have a cost of 6.4 billion Canadian dollars. The organization developing the bridge, the Windsor-Detroit Bridge Authority, is a Canadian federal crown corporation, an organization that is wholly owned by the government but operates at arm's length. In his True Social post, Trump wrote, "The Canadian government expects me, as President of the United States, to permit them to just take advantage of America. I will not allow this bridge to open until the United States is fully compensated for everything we have given them," he added. He also blamed former President Barack Obama for allowing construction to begin without the use of any U.S. steel. But Mayor Drew Dilkins of Windsor, Ontario, on the Canadian side of the bridge, told CBC that this accusation was wrong. "It's just insane," he said. "I really can't believe what I'm reading." On Fox Business on Tuesday, Jameson Greer, Trump's trade chief, said the negotiations the president mentioned in his social media post were specific to the bridge and making sure that proceeds from economic activity like tolls also went to the U.S. The Moron family, the American owners of the neighboring Ambassador Bridge that also connects Detroit to Canada, appealed to Trump during his first term to stop construction of the new bridge, arguing that it infringed on their exclusive ability to collect tolls. In response, Trump and then Prime Minister Justin Trudeau issued a joint statement saying the bridge was a vital economic link between the countries. Michigan's Democratic Governor Gretchen Whitmer pushed back on Trump's threat to close the bridge, saying it was good for jobs in her state. This project has been a tremendous example of bipartisan and international cooperation. Trump on Monday pointed to recent trade disputes between the two countries, saying that the tariffs Canada charges for our dairy products have for many years been unacceptable. He also said that a trade deal signed between Canada and China last month would eat Canada alive. And I quote, the first thing China will do is terminate all ice hockey being played in Canada and permanently eliminate the Stanley Cup. I think there's a better chance of Miami holding the next Winter Classic. But Slotkin hit back at this, saying the only reason Canada was on the verge of a trade deal with China was because Trump has kicked them in the teeth for a year. Canada is our friend, not our enemy, she added, promising to work to get the project back on track. Let's hope. I cannot imagine any Canadian parting with the Stanley Cup. Thank you, and back to you.